So here I'm going to show you the latest version of Ubuntu and the Cinnamon desktop, which I like, and I'm going to install it on a Radxa X2L. So again, I'm using Ventoy to fill up my little red hard drive with lots of ISOs. And in this one I'm going to select Ubuntu Cinnamon 24. I don't know, is it 04? I don't know. I'll see in a minute. 2404. There he is. And I'm going to install it all. I'm going to then install LabVIEW and check that that all works. And it looks nice. So this is a standard one. So try and install Ubuntu Linux. Again, I'm capturing this on my Walkie video capture card, which is much nicer than pointing a camera at the screen, which was what I was doing alternatively. So, hope you appreciate the investment I've putting in here. So here we go. Here's the install screens. I'm not speeding them up markedly at this point, but there will be some speed ups, I think. A little while since I edited the video, so it's going to be a bit of a surprise for me because I have no memory. But it boots up into the Ubuntu desktop, which is the standard way that Ubuntu installs. And I wanted to do this in real time just to give a feeling for how long that part of it takes. So feel free to speed the commentary up, which is always a hilarious option to do on a YouTube video, I find. And here she is. So it loads into the Ubuntu desktop, but then you get the option to install it. So other distros don't do it like that. Some do, some don't, but this is a Ubuntu thing, and it's fine. It works very well. I find the installer on this to be very nice. Just walks you through in a nice and easy fashion. And it's also got some nice sort of options in it to help you if you have impaired eyesight and things like that. Which is quite good for Linux, really. Okay, just make your options. So English for me, and there's the accessibility options, which are very good. So well done, Ubuntu. And straight away it's calling up that there's updates to install. So this is going to get interrupted now. So install a new loader. So there you go. So do that, and then we'll have to go around the cycle again. That's fine. You know, it's not. It doesn't take it too much time. Again, this is real time. I'm not speeding this up. So you can see it's not taking a massive amount of time. That's the same questions again. And that's the one we want. And then we have, might as well have everything on it. We got 256 gig little hard drive. So I just install everything. It's free, isn't it? So I'm going to wipe out what I've got on the disk already again, because these are all experiments really. I must have about 1 million licenses signed up, because I'm essentially just installing a distro, checking it out, seeing if I like it, putting another one on. Generally, this little Radxa I'm using for embedded stuff, so for the options for this one I've just turned off the login so it comes straight in. And there you go, off she goes now. So I zoom this up. So this isn't real time now. As you can see by the video. Right, so that's all done. Restart. And another nice thing it does is it whinges at you and says remove the installation medium, which I quite like. I've had other distros just sort of boot it back in again, which is quite annoying. So I hoik out the little Vento flash drive. And if you want to know how to install the Ventoy stuff, there's plenty of things on YouTube that will help you. But essentially, you just download the ISO, Google Ventoy, download the ISO, drop it in, and it sorts it all out. And it ends up being 2 little drives. It's very cool. Okay, so now we just reboot back into Ubuntu Cinnamon. And then we just got to try and install LabVIEW. So this is the new version. It's got the newer kernel in it, and essentially in Linux the kernel is how it handles the hardware. So, you know, the newer the kernel, generally the more capable it is at handling hardware, and in the world of embedded systems, that's usually quite a good thing to have a fairly new version. But it's not essential. The joy of Linux is that you can just keep a copy of the version you like, back it up to an image, see previous video, and just load whichever one you want. It just doesn't matter. There's no licenses or anything. It's very easy to install a new version. Okay, so that's it. It's all good. Let's go on the internet and download some stuff, install some stuff. I'm getting quite used to installing now. Well, I do keep forget which commands to use, but so in this one I'm going to just download I'm downloading Community Edition on this one, I think. So the trick to a good download is to log into your account first. So I tend to... the other thing that sometimes happens is, I don't know if it's a NI website thing, because I have had it on Windows, it's not a Firefox thing, is that sometimes the LabVIEW website doesn't load, or the download website doesn't load. There we go. So just go back, refresh it, start again. Okay, so here we have LabVIEW for Linux 2024 Q3. I can't remember which one I downloaded. Oh no, I think I just remembered to log in. Okay, oh no, I'm doing the Community Edition. Splendid. So just extract it there, that's what I tend to do anyway. Bonk, and then you get the repository files, or package files. And Ubuntu uses debs. So in this one it says 2204, so I'm just using the newest one. So it's not strictly for this version, but it seems to work okay. Spoiler alert. So just right click it, load the installer, install it here. And all that's doing is registering the repositories on your device, so it knows where to look. So after you do this, you have to, unfortunately, it's not like OpenSUSE where you can do it all from YAST, which is really nice. You have to actually do some terminal work. But there's no enormous hardship once you get used to it. Just go su root, log in as root, plug in the password, and away you go. You can sudo it as well. Log in the password correctly, and then you're good to go. I just su root just because it saves a couple of. Oh no, I'm going. Okay, it won't let me super user it. Sorry, that's a Debian thing. So I'm going to sudo now. I was just testing it, but yeah, sudo's fine. So you just go sudo apt update, then tap in your password. Okay, so that's just updating all the repositories, making sure that all the links. Now you have to go sudo apt install ni LabVIEW dash 2024 community. Okay. I'm sure if you actually go on the website without repositories pointing at, you can actually see what to install correctly. I've not tested it yet, but I have done it with other package managers, and that tends to be the key. You just go on the website and have a look. Right, well, that's installing. I'll do the drivers as well. I can do that in parallel. I can't install them in parallel, but you can download them, which saves probably all of 2 minutes. If I can get all that done, I can then start speeding up the progress path. There we go. Q2 seems to be the earliest update that we've got, so just bring in the earliest. And process is exactly the same. Just unzip it, extract it, and away you go. So that's all of our internety stuff done. And there's all the drivers. So we can't do much while it's progressing and installing. While it's doing that, I wonder if it's safe for me to test my theory. Hold on. Too quick. I'll come back to that in another video. It would be really handy because you get a long list of hardware and repos that you can pull in, but you have to kind of do it through experience and guessing. Right, that's all installed. So that's nice. So next thing is to install our Ubuntu drivers. I tend not to do the stream option. I don't really know why. I think it's one of those things. I've had success doing it this way, so I stick with the way that works. Exactly the same process, and on this system I'm just loading Visa and the hardware config utility. There are quite a lot of other things you can load into Linux. They don't cover all of NI's hardware, but they do cover quite a lot. So off she comes. Just updates again. So I've installed it. You just update to make sure the repos are up to date. And then you start installing. So sudo apt install ni-visa. There's a great deal of options. If you do your homework, there's a lot of options, but I'm reasonably sure, and someone can correct me on this, that just doing the ni-visa loads everything. It seems to load all the VIs and seems to work. So okay, so that's all coming in. Now Linux, if you're new to Linux, everything has permissions. So where we're dealing with programming, we're developing and talking to hardware, that's actually something you need permissions to do. So you need to actually give yourself those permissions. So now I'm also, while the thing's going, I'm downloading the CTI software. LabVIEW community training. So github.com, LabVIEW community training brings it in. And we'll just download that and stick that on the desktop. Just bring it in as a zip. And we just unzip it and drag it over. Or you can unzip it too. But I'm really lazy, so let's see if I go for the lazy option. Yeah, I do. Extract it here, and then just drag it over. Donk. And that's got everything you need to do CTI training, this current version anyway. So you have to put that hands-on Pi 2040 driver into the National Instruments directory. Local natinst instrument library, stick it there. So I'm just doing this as it's going, just multitasking. Something I'm told I shouldn't be able to do by my wife. Okay, that's that all done. As you can see, it's quite bringing a lot of stuff in. Well, so here we got our Visa interactive control. You can see some other things going in there. It's very nice. I like Cinnamon. It's a very nice setup. So now I'm just going to sudo and set the my permissions so I can talk to hardware. Essentially, the command for that is gpassword dash. I've got blogs on this, but essentially you're setting CTI, who's the user, to dial out. So if you're whatever your username is, you just add it to the dial out group, and dial out deals with serial ports, UARTs, and things like that. But one advantage that OpenSUSE has over Ubuntu is that pretty much all the issues you're going to find with your development is that you haven't got rights or permissions to talk to whatever you're trying to talk to. So OpenSUSE is quite good like that, because you can log in as root, which is quite a big advantage. But as you grow more used to the permissions, you begin to appreciate the you seem to appreciate the security of not being able to log in as root. Okay, so that's all done. Now we have to reboot I think we have to reboot once for the dial out to come into effect. Otherwise you'll find you have all sorts of trouble with the Visa interactive controls and things like that. Okay, so I'm just checking what's going on, and now we're just going to put in the hardware config utility. And again, that's a whole heap more. I think I may speed this one up. Yes, I do. It's much slower than that. But it's quite nice. It's a hardware config utility is kind of the proposed replacement for Macs. It seems to work all right. Obviously, it doesn't do everything that Macs does, but then Macs probably does too much. Now bring the dial out in and make that correct. So just restarting. So this is LabVIEW 2024 Q3, so all of the rendering issues are sorted on this, and you've got all the latest and greatest. It's still a slightly different experience to Windows, slightly rough around the edges, LabVIEW, but on Linux. So I'm hoping the more people who use it, the more feedback they get. But it's quite usable. We've used it for a couple of projects now quite successfully. Okay, so that's all rebooted. So now the test is to make sure it can see the Visa ports. And because if it can't see that, then nothing else is worth doing. So if we go to programming, go check out Visa, and there's all our Visa ports. It's got quite a lot of Visa ports. I don't know what they all do. And now we just need to log in. Now, to license Community Edition, you do always have to be online, which is a bit of a pain in the neck. It's all right for people like me who've got a paid for license, but especially on these little rasters, because they do have an NVM slot for putting a wireless Wi-Fi card in. I haven't actually done that yet, but they have an Ethernet port, and I plug into that, connect to the internet that way. Old-fashioned way. Anyway, look at that. That there looks like LabVIEW. So yeah. So if Visa had not installed correctly, then generally there'd be a lot of crashing and disappearing, and weird Visa things on that Visa interactive control screen and all that kind of stuff. So it gets quite unpleasant. Okay, just set a few options. There's some font options that are worth setting, which just make the font look a bit nicer. If you follow what I'm doing there, then you'll see. I think it's Liberation Sans, because there's another sort of, it's not a rendering bug, it's an alignment bug. It just means that things like text boxes and the like all have the text up in the corner. It looks a bit gross. So yeah, just set all those up and away you go. And you probably don't need to do it for all of them. I do, just because I don't know which one's which. So I set everything to Liberation Sans. Sure, if I was a bit more interested and involved, I'd not do that. But there we go. Have LabVIEW all set up and ready to go. And then it's just using the you have to use some of the newer drivers I've got up on, hopefully on GitHub soon. For the raster, it's got a slightly different pinout. That will become clear when you try to use it.